It's the Wise Guys Real Estate Podcast, helping you buy and sell in the Okanagan Schulhof.
Forget about it.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Wise Guys Real Estate Podcast. Today we have another special guest, Andrew Schulhof. I don't know if I butchered that or not. Hope not.
Perfect.
Joel, I know you know this guy a lot better than I do, so I'll let you do the introduction.
Okay. I guess it's probably been, I was thinking about this. Like I moved here 2005 on Andrew's recommendation. So we were chatting.
To Vernon, you mean?
To Vernon, yeah. No, so he, at the time, it was so early 2005, we came out and looked at stuff in June, and it was like 35 degrees, took Bella Vista Road out. And at the time, Andrew suggested the best place to invest in BC was, I believe, Vernon number 1, Cowichan Valley number 2, and Kamloops number 3. So I wasn't going to the island, and Kamloops doesn't turn my crank. And then that was the first time I was in Vernon, and lo and behold, here I am. And so Andrew is he's a real estate guru, and I thought that before I moved here, and I still think that. And yeah, he's got a lot to offer. I've met him back in the Harv Eker days, and so I think we first kind of started chatting when 2020 Properties must have been doing Millionaire School on one of Harv's stages, and then you wrote my parents into Dartmouth. And we got a lot of mutual friends, and here we are. Let's talk a little real estate. Anyways, I want to talk about his book. Okay, so he's a future international best-selling author of a book called "Look Before You Leap," but leap. So that's just hitting the press.
Yeah, it's still in its final print. Well, it's being printed right now. But I'm not a guru. I've just been around this industry a long time. I'm just going to be real humble. I'm not a guru. I've just seen the good, bad, and the ugly.
Well, I love your newsletters because it's got all the meat and potatoes, right? Like a lot of people pump out fluff, and each one that you send out, like you hit hard the Alberta market, the Okanagan market, you're in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And so, I appreciate your attention to detail and the thoroughness of what you put out, because there's a lot of good stuff that newsletter. Strategic Investment Real Estate.com bookmark it. Okay.
There you go.
So how was the intro? Was that
that was fantastic.
Pump your tires enough, or?
Well, I was going to say, wow, these are overinflated tires now. No, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking back to the old T. Harv Eker, and he was very instrumental in me even writing this book, along with some other, what I would consider, I wouldn't call them gurus, but masters like Ozzie Durock and Don Campbell, and the originator of REIN way back when, Alan Jacks. Got to meet Robert Kiyosaki. So there's been a lot of major influencers in me getting involved in real estate and taking it to this next level.
Yeah. So like, what's your focus? Like, I know that, when we were talking more, when I lived in Vancouver, you were 2020 had a really interesting program. They went in and they would do condo conversions, and then you would kind of sell each individual condo as a cash flow investment to kind of more on a more retail scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen over the years, what you're putting out in Alberta, because Andrew's a real estate, you hold a license in both Alberta and BC.
No. I only hold it in BC, but I have some strong connections in Alberta. So anytime, and it happens to be Alberta, and specifically Edmonton at this moment, because the market fundamentals are there, and it's had the it's had the correction, shall we call it, in its market where there are opportunities. So that's why I'm looking there. I'm looking in the Okanagan. I'm looking in the prairies. And there's great stuff all across the country. It's just finding that right product. And so that's one of the reasons why I focus in Alberta. There's a whole pile of reasons, i.e. no rent controls, no empty home tax, no property transfer tax, no because we can tax, none of that stuff.
Yeah. The Wild West.
It's a free market. It actually rises and falls as the market dictates, which there is very little government intervention, which allows for, I think, a better performing asset when you're investing.
Yeah. No, we're both Alberta boys, and we're in the Okanagan. It's a BC, bring cash. They need to find a good acronym for Alberta. AB. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to figure that one out.
Let me mull that over. So, okay, let's we were chatting with a mutual friend, Jasper, a while ago, and he was looking at doing some stuff in Alberta, and I seen you pump out some product there, but apparently it's all sold out. But what are you looking at in Alberta? What kind of, are you still in the condo conversion type of thing?
No.
Or what's?
Let me sort of take you back. So one of the things I found in some of that condo conversion is it's easier to get in, but harder to get out. And they can cash flow. And if you're buying at the right time in the real estate cycle of that market, you can actually do very, very well. And I have done extremely well in some markets. Other markets, moderate. Other markets, like I will sell if I feel that we've kind of capped out and I don't see, future growth in the long term. And if I can better utilize my money, then I'm going to redeploy it. But I'm a big fan of net investing. In other words, letting the property grow in value, taking the equity out of that to buy more properties and build a portfolio that way. But I always have exit plans in place. With the condo conversion, it's a very interesting situation, and it's become extremely difficult with all the regulations and whatnot. That, in fact, we've seen the odd one where it's been the other way around, where they've taken them separately and brought them back into an apartment block.
Yeah.
So what I look for now, and this is where I found it to be really handy, is I'm more interested in those predominantly owner-occupier condos, townhouses, multifamily properties where there's an exit strategy already in mind, meaning that you can sell to an owner-occupier if you ever needed to get out or wanted to get out, versus a predominantly rental building trying to sell to an owner-occupier, because that way you can either sell to an investor or an owner-occupier because it's predominantly owner-occupier. And what I found recently is that type of product is newer, built to a higher standard, has all the creature comforts, the in-suite laundry, the granite countertops, the laminate floors, the double sinks, all of the goodies that people want as an owner-occupier, but what people also want as a renter. So you can generally get a better return because you have a more sustainable tenant, so to speak. They're willing to stay longer. They're willing to pay more because they're getting all those goodies. And what I found a lot with the younger generation is they're willing to pay more and get what they want now. And they don't always want to buy, but they want to live and they want that utilization.
Yeah, and they got a comfort level, and a dishwasher and a washer and dryer goes a long ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I still live in an older building where we have shared laundry, but that's my choice. I like where I live, and it's a small enough building that it's never an issue. And that way I don't have to worry about flooding of my suite just in case a washer has an issue.
Where in Van do you live?
I live in Mount Pleasant, right near City Hall.
Yeah, cool.
And I've watched this area completely gentrify since I've lived here on and off since 1980. I'm an old guy. But what's interesting is my biggest regret is not buying more when I had the chance here, because I mean, the price has just gone stupid.
Yeah.
I can't use another word. They're just nuts.
Well, it's so interesting being where we are in the Okanagan, because we've got like 25% of our buyers right now are coming from the Lower Mainland.
Yep.
So before this whole pandemic thing, it was maybe 18 to 22%. And so the Lower Mainland's up by another 5 points. Alberta's up by another 5 points, and there's nothing to buy. And so then Vancouver, like you guys have had this, it's not silly, but it's a speculative mentality, right? And you follow the rain circles and Don Campbell, and it gets drilled in your head pretty quick that you're investing for cash flow. And then this balloon market from the coast. Well, now these people that have been living there and been accustomed to that for the last 15, 20 years are moving here. So it's not, it's just different, because I'm writing deals with people coming in from the coast, not so much people moving around on the board. Well, you do both, but it's this whole Lower Mainland thing is kind of turned into a BC thing.
Yeah, it's funny because I do residential stuff at the same time, and I had an investor client of mine looking to buy in Prince George, and he got beat out 8 times on offer. Like
PG.
before, yeah, in BC. He's from Vancouver trying to buy in Prince George, and the deals were gone before the ink was dry. So it is a BC thing. Lower Vancouver Island, Victoria is going crazy. It's the challenge is there's a FOMO happening. There's also this I got to park my money somewhere, and everything's appreciating in their eyes, which concerns me to a degree, because you're betting. And this is why I'm a little cautious sometimes in buying in BC. You're betting on one thing: appreciation. Is it black or is it red? It's a bit of a craps game. If something happens, then it's going to stall, maybe drop. Whereas I look for that more blue chip investing, where I can have cash flow and appreciation. And the reason being is I need to be able to hold on to that property. And so if I'm investing, I want to be able to have that property supporting itself rather than me feeding it and becoming an emotional anchor, so to speak. And so this is why I look for certain markets where it actually makes sense. But to me, it's always about doing your due diligence and then taking action, which is where the book came from. Look before you leap, but leap, right?
Yeah. So like, what's in there? You got to kind of walk through.
Oh, man. Well, let me put it this way. I won't go into all the chapters, but it really breaks it down into, first of all, why are you investing? That's the first question a lot of people I ask, and they go, well, yeah, I want to make a lot of money. Yeah, so what? And that's a question I use a lot. So what? Why are you investing? What is it for? Is it, just to amass a pile of money, or is it for legacy? Is it because you want to go on vacations, or you want to play in the best golf courses in the world? What is it that drives you? Because if you don't have your big why, then there's less motivation. So that's a key piece. Then there's always understanding about the market fundamentals, understanding the market fundamentals, what to be looking for in a market. People, buying real estate is local, but you're buying into the economy whether you like it or not. And if that economy is on the downturn, then you got to be careful. it can be an advantage if you know what you're doing because you're able to negotiate better. But if you're buying at the peak of the cycle, you could be in trouble depending on what type of investing you're doing. Are you long-term hold? Are you flipping? Are you buying assignments? We're seeing a lot of that, and some of those situations. And I'm familiar with one person right now who bought 3 pre-sales, can't unload them. Now he has to come up with the money and can't qualify. So understanding yourself, understanding your strengths, understanding the market is really, really important before you jump in. To me, I look at it this way. Is there water in the pool before I jump in, or are you going to hit the cement? Right? And that's kind of...
It makes sense to me.
Well, kind of. That's the way I look at it. But then I also go into, property management and how to deal with property management, real estate calculation, understanding demographics, looking at what drives the economy. So it's all the pieces, because real estate is a lagging indicator of the economy. Starts with GDP, then there's jobs, then there's population growth. As people become more stabilized, then they're going to start buying. So, but how is the development? Is it being built faster than the market can absorb? And that's one of the things. Even though I own in Kelowna, in the Okanagan, you watch that cycle happen so often. The market gets really, really, really tight. The developers come in, build a ton of stuff. They can't sell it as quickly as they would like to because the market doesn't absorb it that quickly. Then you see the higher vacancy rates because they put it into rental and so on and so forth. And the cycle happens over and over again. So I'm a firm believer, and this is something that really triggered me years ago, was, understanding the timing of the market first. We always hear the location, location, location. That's great, but I believe in timing first, then location, 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 as far as when it comes to investing. If it's your own home, totally different world.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It does. Yeah, no, if it's your own home, then as long as you want to live somewhere, then it's kind of relative. But it's funny how as a real estate investor, when you first start out, and this is my experience, I was just so excited to get in. And so, that rewind to 2005, that was the first place we ever bought. And so we had a nice little run there, right? So 2005, 6, 7, bang, 2008.
Yep.
Well, 2008 wasn't that big a deal. 2012 was really starting to sting because I was holding on, paying shortages, and all of a sudden I've done renovations on a credit card where it's not worth what it was I paid for it. And so if people who are just starting out, I get a hold of your book, or when there's some very painful things that can happen in real estate, and when they do, it's kind of like getting bit by a dog. You're not going to stick your head out there. Yeah. And so it for me, I've had a few things that really stung, right? So now maybe I'm a little overly cautious, but I'm not, it's going to take a lot to pry the money out of my pocket. And so you've been doing this way longer than I have. Like we did a whole episode with Jared Hope about real estate horror stories. Like you must have some.
Oh yeah.
We love those. Can you?
Well, okay. So one of the reasons I got involved in real estate. Well, first of all, my parents. So 2016 was almost a absolute duplication of the late 70s, early 80s, where they were getting tips on houses from taxi cab drivers and all of this. And I never forget the headline. The Vancouver Sun said, "We don't know how high house prices are going to go," and that was way back when. And my parents jumped into a rental property in North Vancouver, bought at the height of the market, which is what a lot of people do. Oh, everybody's got to get into it. And within, I think, about a year and a half, the interest rates went to 22%, 22. And my dad couldn't hang on to the property. Like, the market literally shut off, vacancy rates jumped. People got out of BC to a degree. We kind of went into a recessionary period. And my dad sold at a loss. But he had a great location. So there was a situation, he didn't anticipate holding on to the property, and what would the carrying cost be that he could absorb? He couldn't absorb those costs. So I was kind of one of those young people with a lot of vigor, and I wanted to know what that guy who sold the house to my dad knew that my dad didn't know. And that's when I started to understand about market timing. And my dad just bought at the absolute peak of the market without having a plan. So that was the first mistake. And then the second mistake that got me even more pumped was I was up in Kelowna way back in '85. And I was driving along Lakeshore Drive in Mission District, went down to Hobson, I think it is, right on the water. And I saw this house, and it was road, horseshoe driveway, house, grass, sand, lake. 150 grand. And I'm like, oh man, I know this is a deal, but I didn't at that time ask the right questions. How I didn't have the money, but how could I come up with that, that down payment? And so I learned to start asking a better question. I'm sure that place has been subdivided and it's probably worth several $1 million. And it was like, forehead smacking moment, right? So I look at those now and go, instead of, holy crap, that's too bad, I go, how can I do it? So asking the better question, get a better answer every time. I've had properties on Vancouver Island where, it was basically rental, and some people, older product, and they wanted to turn the sow's ear into silk. Basically they were looking at it going, oh, we're going to do all of this to it. It's not going to improve the value. The house, the building is as it is, its highest and best use to be knocked down and redeveloped. And so, I got out. I got out at a profit, but I've had so many, because I sit on all the boards or councils. I've learned that people are very interesting.
Oh yeah.
And I've chosen to look at situations where I don't see it improving and going, okay, I can exit that with a much higher level of relief and joy rather than sticking there and duking it out. I don't need to be right. I just need to be happy. So I've focused on that. And wherever I've seen situations that I don't see turning around, that's when I'll exit out of that situation. And sometimes it's worked in my favor. The odd time it has not. I've gotten out just a little bit too early, and it's had its challenges for sure. But I'm a happier person because it just makes me move myself a little more with limber and direction than sitting there waiting and going, okay, let's just duke this out some more.
Yeah.
Property management is, to me, my biggest headache, but can be also your biggest asset on any real estate, period. Especially because I don't buy local, I buy where it makes sense. And Vancouver doesn't make sense to me to invest. You might find that odd, unicorn property, but generally the only thing you're buying here is for appreciation. And when you're at the height of the market, it makes me nervous.
Cool. Yeah, I know you reminded me of something telling me that story. Our mutual friend Thomas Byer, we had him on one of these, and that guy is just a beauty, you know. But we were looking at, I send it when I see a property. It's funny, he can analyze something so quick on that multifamily side, like it. Anyways, but I sent him a property, and I said to him, "Oh, the problem is such and such," and he cuts me off mid-sentence, and he says, "Joel," he says, "there are no problems. There's only facts." And so you put it out there that how do you do it? You know, people can get a little leery when if they've hit some bumps in the road. But if you see that $150,000 piece on the water in Kelowna in 1985, you better, you got to figure that out. And so, yeah, exactly. And so it's all about the why, right? Some people, they just want to be rich, and maybe that is their why. Like I look at my real estate broker, Bill Hubbard. He just wants to live an amazing life. It's all lifestyle for him, right? He likes to be on the water. He likes to go out for dinner. He likes to go on the boat. He likes to take clients out. And, his real estate investing strategy is you turn them over. Sometimes you don't, for him, he doesn't want to keep everything and pay it all down because he likes having the cash in his jeans. And so, each person is on their own little path, and it, if you can help people identify their why, that's a pretty big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it's funny, there's so many different ways to invest in real estate, actively or passively, if you want to. I mean, you can do short-term flips, you can do the BRRRR, you can do joint ventures, you can do rent-to-owns, you can do assignments, you can do the buy and hold, you can do a combination of them. I also do lifestyle investing, owning in Hawaii and having somebody pay off that mortgage for me, but I get to go there. So there's resorts, there's safe haven, there's fast money. So that's the thing, is understanding your why will help you define your strategies. It's not just one, there's usually a few, and then your exit strategies as well, as it suits your needs. Like, I mean, to me, your broker, he has his why. It's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because we've all learned that we can't take it with us. The pharaohs in Egypt proved that to us really well. So you just gotta enjoy it. We got here, we got now, we've got a plan for the future, but you got to live for today.
I got a buddy who's built 1,500 houses in Kelowna.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any kids. And he's got a boatload of money. So we're having lunch one day, and I said to Kevin, like, what are you gonna do with all this? He says, Joel, I'm taking it with me. So he's taking it with him.
Okay.
That's his wife.
Okay. I guess he's going to have the best looking coffin going.
Yeah, he might.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
He probably does. But it's interesting, right? Because everyone has their own tolerance. And for me, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Our parents.
Yeah.
And they've done exactly what you're talking about with a condo and cash flow and whatnot. And if you look at my parents, they're pretty damn happy.
That's good.
And they've got enough they don't have all the money in the world, but they have more than enough. But that they know that they have all they need and they don't need to. And so it's just interesting, right? You get some people that have to build this empire. Like I got a friend and he's a developer and he's bipolar, it seems like to me. Like I go for lunch with him one week and he's the funniest guy in the world, and I go another time and he's so stressed out we don't even talk.
Yeah.
And I know at this point in my life that I don't need that. But
Yeah.
A year I was younger and more ambitious, I thought maybe that was something to strive towards, but that's not me, and I know that now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny. They do say that you get wiser as you get older. And, there's certain things that I've found now, like it used to be the hustle, make it all happen. And I got to win. Now I really, and I know this sounds corny, but if I can't do a deal where everybody wins, I don't do the deal because it's not sustainable. And I'm talking, the seller side, the buyer side, the agents, the tenants, whoever's involved, everybody needs to win because it's sustainable that way.
Yeah.
And it's a lot tougher to do those deals, but it's a lot more rewarding. It's not without its problems along the way, but that's life. But I found that approach has actually solved a lot of my stress. And that's kind of if everybody can't win, then I'm not interested.
And they're coming back next time, right? The repeat and the referral. That's the only way to do it in my eyes. Yeah. Same as you, as you try and figure out how to make this work for everybody. And that's a foundational piece.
And the other reason why I invest in condos and townhouses, my clients do too, is we don't want to buy a job. Like, yes, you're paying condo fees or strata fees, whichever province you live in. But in the same token, to a degree, you're doing the same thing in a single family home. You got to replace your roof. You got to do the painting. You got to, there's lawn maintenance, there's plumbing, there's all. So I look at the condo fees, it's like everybody's bought in that complex has bought one lawnmower, right? Yeah. There's a process. Yes, there's a cost to it. I live in a condo. Why? I used to live in a house and I didn't find mowing the lawns and painting and fixing that therapeutic anymore, right? So now I can lock my door, turn on the alarm, live on the ground floor in Vancouver in what can be quite an interesting neighborhood at times, but I can go away for 3 to 5 weeks and not worry about it.
So what's happening in Hawaii?
Well, it's opened up quite significantly. We have a waterfront 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Maui, and it's booked solid right through August right now. And then every couple of weeks. But it's a very interesting market because it's a really tight market. It's a very expensive market. But I bought, I couldn't have timed this better if I tried. I bought in 2012 when the Canadian dollar was at par and the US was still hurting from the financial crisis, and Hawaii's prices were off by about 50%.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, I couldn't have timed it better if I did all the algorithms in the world. It just happened to be that lucky. And literally, I could throw something into the water from our lanai. It's that close, which I wouldn't do because that wouldn't be environmentally good. But yeah, it's a place I go to. I've been going there since '93, almost every year. It's just one of those places that speaks to me. And I love the tropics. I like sun. I like water and all. That's why I live in Vancouver. I lived out in Maple Ridge for a while, and I just could not handle not being near the ocean. So I moved back into the city. So I'm 5 minutes from the ocean. if I need to be. But Hawaii it's opened up again. They're doing a really good job in terms of dealing with this whole COVID thing. And it's just such a relaxed world. But I'm also I like resort investing. So I'm looking at stuff in Bucerias, Mexico. My wife is Filipina, so we're heavily looking in the Philippines because I just think that there's undervalued, even though their values went up like 35% in Metro Manila in 1 year. It's still, I think, great value there. It just takes a little longer to get there. So that's why I figure, Vancouver to Hawaii, spend a little time, then go from Hawaii over to the Philippines and then back, cuts the trip in half.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
So Andrew, what's your why now? I mean,
my why is really it's about spending time with family. It's connecting, it's giving back. For instance, the book, all net proceeds go to either Sarah McLaughlin School of Music, World Vision Canada, or Kiva, the microloans for entrepreneurs. And it's just a really cool system because, I got that motivation from, people like Don Campbell, a few people that actually said, well, I don't need the money that much more. I want to be able to give back. And as I've gotten older, that's the thing. I know it sounds really corny, but it just gives me a sense of fulfillment. When I did some volunteering with World Vision down in Costa Rica, it changed my life. Just seeing what they don't have and how happy they are versus us with all our stuff and our complicated, crazy lives that we make complicated and crazy. So I'm on a path of simplification, which is quite revealing at times. But yeah, spending time with family, giving back are really key. And then my biggest is music. I'm a nut for music, and so I'm really missing live music. Really missing it. So I've been going to concerts since I was 13, something like that. So that's a way long time ago. So
you play too then, or what?
Yes, although it's been really busy, so I haven't been playing that much. So yes, I do. I'm a bit of an avid guitar collector and music collector, and I actually play. I used to be in bands, but that's last century. So now I do it more for hobby, just for enjoyment. Yeah,
it's awesome. I never knew that, man.
Yeah, well,
you guess if you need a little recharge, just go. You can just busk out your back door there, probably.
That's right. We've actually had a few live sessions on our back patio, which is kind of cool.
Right on.
Yeah, some of one of my the real estate educators on the board is a good friend of mine, and he is an amazing musician, Jerry Hallstrom, who we've also helped teach investment real estate to realtors, residential realtors, helping them make more money as well. And yeah, we've had some amazing sessions playing out there. And it's funny because I just lose all sense of time. And that's when I know I'm in the moment. No, so it's very cool. I lead a really blessed life.
Sounds like putting on the skates, eh, Joel?
Yeah, that's like hitting and going bar down and ending at no tea for me.
So Andrew, we won't get too off topic with real estate, but top 3 concerts you ever been to?
Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, Peter Gabriel, Secret World Tour, and Zeppelin in '75 in Vancouver.
Holy shit, eh?
I mean, there's tons. There's literally tons.
Did you ever get to see Petty?
No, I didn't. But I did see T-Rex. And AC/DC with Bon Scott.
Nice.
Yep. And Bob Marley and
Wow.
Yeah, no, Frank Zappa. Yeah,
Cool.
I've been really lucky to see some of the bands that I've seen, and that's why when they come, I don't care. I just go. I just get a ticket because you never know, right? Who
Well,
counted on COVID?
yeah, we, Jordy and I saw Petty row 6 on the floor,
Nice.
and he was weird. He was looking at me when he was singing. I won't back down. He's made eye contact. I'll never forget
Nice.
that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you might be disappointed in me for this. We Neil Young came to Kelowna, and I had tickets, but there was a playoff game, Flames game, and so I sold the tickets. And then we won the game, but we lost the series to Chicago. Anyways, I'm off track here, but
Yeah. But I mean, hey, there is something about doing what you love, and hockey trumps music for you, right?
yeah, it does.
There you
And
go.
I would do it. I do the same thing over again, even though the star player at the time was Holy Jokinen.
Wow. But I mean, yeah, I've done the same thing. I mean, people go, well, why are you going to go see that person again? Because I can, and because, like, for instance, Roger Waters. Again, we're kind of off topic, but every time I go see him, I go, okay, this is the best show he's ever going to do. And I go see him next time and going, oh my God, he just trumped what he did last time.
I'd
Right?
love
So,
to see Roger Waters.
yeah, well, he's coming again. His tour is coming on 22nd or 2022. But yeah, again, and real estate allows me to do that. It allows me to live those moments because of what I'm doing. And if you're, and I know this is sort of bringing it back full circle, but if you're not doing what brings you passion and joy in life, then why the hell are you doing it? And to me, real estate is a passion. So I'm a Gemini, right? So I have this analytic side and I have this artistic side. Like I'm always a party. I don't know who's showing up today, right? So, and real estate brought that world together, so to speak, because of the analytic side, and I had this passion for real estate because I love the numbers, but I was also able to look at it from the design and creativity side of it, and putting together this whole virtual apartment building system that I have, and the complete turnkey process. So there's a creative side, and there's do the numbers work, and so it's I am extremely fortunate to be able to work in my passions, and then be able to give back to music as a result of my real estate. So that was one of the things I really got keen on. Was out of my commissions, I put some money back into Sarah McLaughlin School of Music. So kids are picking up an instrument rather than a knife or a gun or a needle or whatever, right? Hopefully it brings these inner city kids into a better form of life. And to see, like, I saw an autistic kid that wouldn't speak at the beginning of the year to sing a cappella at the end of the year. I'm like, crap, you can't write this stuff.
No.
And if I had even the tiniest piece of a contribution to that by funding that school, hell yeah, all day long.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat as you, man. I just love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so it works for me. And some people, at the end of the day, if people are listening, they must like real estate.
Yeah.
There's 3 of us listening. We know that.
Well, it's the power of leverage. It's you're providing a rental housing service to people. It's something. It's tangible. It's a hard asset. It doesn't turn in a dime like my stocks. And I'm not saying stocks are bad. It's just I believe in having all of it. I believe in having insurance, stocks, cash, bonds, real estate. It's definitely a a powerful tool for your future. Because you know what, at some point in time, I will opt to not work anymore. And I want my real estate to be helping me fund my retirement, because I don't have a pension plan working for a company, so it's up to me.
Andrew, what would you I want? Can you give us 3 pieces of advice for the people that are at 3 stages of their investment cycle or their life or whatever? People just starting out, one piece of advice. People kind of in the middle,
Mhm.
as far as timeline. What should they be aware of? And then, I mean, you're kind of at that golden spot where, you can do things for the right reasons now. Someone near where you are currently, another piece of advice.
Well, I mean, it always comes back to self-assessment first. That would be whether you're at the beginning stages, middle stages, or towards the end. Is what you're doing what you want to be doing? Like, again, comes back to your why. So in investing in real estate, um, for somebody just starting off, I'd say learn. And there are a lot of people out there that will educate you, and they'll do it well and not charge you an insane amount of money where some of these organizations do. And they get you to rack up your cards. Listen to your gut. That is really powerful, and be able to see your fear and walk through it anyways, because it's just mind trick, as Harv would say. It's just stories that you're telling yourself. Do it anyways. Take one step, and you'll find that you'll gain momentum. So that would be what I'd say for the early stages. Middle stages, I'd say look at everything that's going on in terms of your investment portfolio. Does it make sense for you still? Are you feeling restless? Is there something that's not quite right? And again, it's coming back to assessing what's going on. And for people myself that are on probably the downslope, shall we say, rather than the upslope.
AG vet.
There you go. Do what makes you happy, because we don't know when our egg timer goes off, and yeah, you don't want the ding to happen when you're not ready. Going, yeah, but wait a minute. Like, life is, for me, life is fleeting. So I meditate. I'm focused on gratitude every day, and it's not intellectual. I got to feel through it. I look what I'm doing. I'm aware. I go outside and just breathe for that, and get really present. That has made just an insane difference. I am able to deal with stressors a lot easier because I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. As long as I wake up in the morning, it's a good day, and I move forward. Life. We got this gift. Don't screw with it. Don't waste it.
I told you this was going to turn out good.
I don't know. That's just me. That's just the way I've operated. Now, when I was young and 20, I was totally different, but I was always kind of that artsy fartsy type guy. I just had this analytic side, and this is why it all kind of happened. But I was aware enough to bring all of these what looked like unrelated pieces together, and it worked out. I mean, I didn't go through my life without struggles, but in retrospect, those were stepping stones that brought me here. I mean, I had to go through a divorce, losing job and everything in 3 months, with life look like complete crap. But it brought me to Hawaii. It brought me here. I'm talking to you guys, book done. I'm working with clients that are really happy, that buy with me. I'm going, I have to go there to get here. So I look at every negative now, or construed negative, as I go, where's the advantage in here? And that's sometimes really hard to do, but I look for the advantage. So it doesn't take me out. That's me.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the only way to look at it.
Look for the gap. Look for the pocket. Look for that, like
Yeah.
when you're playing hockey.
Yeah, look for the good.
Yeah, look for where the guy is going to be.
Yeah, Gretz.
Yep.
Gretzky 101.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, and to add another phrase there, you got to take the shots.
Yeah.
You have to. You're going to score the goals. That's why I say look before you leap. But leap. You've got to take the action, and that relieves my anxiety faster than anything is taking action.
Yeah.
For any of those that know the T.R. Becker path, final question for me: warrior or wizard?
Ooh, wizard.
Ooh,
Oof.
ooh,
Wizard.
cool. Joel, any closing thoughts or questions?
No, I think we'll just quit while we're ahead on this one. Just great stuff, Andrew. Yeah, I know that's great perspective.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Maybe you can share with them, or we can figure out a way to share with them, because I'm not selling my hard copy or paperback book on Amazon because they take way too much money, and I want the money to go to charity. They can email me.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your email?
It's ASCHULHOF@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I ship it anywhere in Canada for $30, all in, autographed, all the rest. And yeah, it all goes to charity.
Amazing. Well, we'll definitely link that in there. We'll put your website up there too.
Awesome.
Any closing thoughts from you, Andrew?
I didn't know where we were going to go when we started, and I'm incredibly thankful and appreciate this opportunity to hang with you guys. Love to do it again.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to us being able to get out and actually have a bevy and getting together. But yeah, I live every moment as if it's my last, and I'm enjoying it.
Awesome.
So
another inspiring conversation for sure. Thank you for coming on.
thank you guys.